And Recoiled led them. Recoiled for Brown on top, 3/4. Now a half a length. Star Lightning, Runnerdell sitting there deep on the track. Down on the inside, Remember Berlin. The pace had come off and they started to bunch up. Right behind them, Mr. African starting to pull a bit between horses. Le Patron shoots around them now, coming into the corner. Over on the fence to Ripper Red, followed further back behind them, Penalty Point. And Pike looking for someone's back here on the outside with the Tango in the straight and Recoiled. He led the way by a length and a half. Remember Berlin found the run coming off the fence from Star Lightning. Down the outside to Tango. Recoiled down on the inside. He's going to have to find plenty of fanfaronade. Remember Berlin, Recoiled and Remember Berlin and Remember Berlin. Remember Berlin has just won from Recoiled, who was brave down on the fence. On the outside from last to Tango grabbing third, and then deeper out running on Penalty Point behind them Star Lightning, Mr. Africa in the middle, then came Le Patron, Ripper Red, and tailing out it finished a long last behind them is Runnerdell. Remember Berlin had the cosier run. Recoiled had to really fight and find, but it was that spongy run behind it that has certainly proven the difference here with the Miller-Mitchell combination coming up with a double for the day. Remember Berlin from a brave Recoiled and Tango from last. Down the outside, Mr. African in a three-way go for fourth place. The heads were bobbing in all directions there, and he might have got his big Bonch down right on the line for fourth as we stand by for the numbers. 1:11.32, but it will be, beg your pardon, yep, 1:11.32 the time for Remember Berlin. Simon Miller, Aaron Mitchell with the double here. The Zizou gelding from Never Forget for J and G Harris, J Handley, and NJ Pethugoda, P May and E Tan. And that's 3 wins now from 8 starts for Remember Berlin, who was beaten by the good filly, the informed filly Kilista, who runs around in the Raconteur on Saturday when he resumed. Recoiled had to work pretty hard. He had him out there, Remember Berlin. A good ride by Mitchell. He just made Brown work that little extra 100 metres before taking the trail behind and then coming around his heels to get him late, right in the last little bit. And down the outside, a strong effort first up to Tango. Mr. African did get fourth in that photo from Le Patron, 4:3.82. So Remember Berlin saluting and continues the very fine form of apprentice Aaron Mitchell. Just grabbing Recoiled in the final stride or so. Recoiled by Demerit from Coiled Spring for Pat, Fred Castledine, Steve Castledine, Karen Palmer, Lois Taylor, Tina Taylor and Ash Palmer. Trained by Jim Taylor, ridden by Jason Brown, and to Tangos by Demerit from Dancing Feet for John Rossi, trained by Brett Pope, ridden by William Pike. A long head, a short head with the margins, 35.12, the last 600 there in race number 3. The fourth, the Good Friday race day, 14 April, handicap 3:15. No alterations there to the next event on the card, which happens to be also the first leg of our quaddie today on this 7-race card. So a nice result here in the first 3 races for the Aquanita team. Let's head back down. Here's Adam McGrath, and once again he's with stable representative this afternoon in Colne Island.
Cole, we've seen with so many of your front runners that although probably leading is the ideal position, you don't mind handing it up, and Aaron Mitchell's just become the master of assessing that pace, and when he saw Recoil pushing hard forward, he was happy to take that sit. Yeah, I mean, we leave it a lot to Aaron and Nux most of the time, but he sort of began okay, and Brownie was pretty keen to lead, so Aaron elected to let him go, and I was a little bit worried in the corner that he wasn't going to get the run, but when it presented, he quickened up nice enough and got the job done. Still needed a way out, as you mentioned, and of course, Bonnie Police had Star Lightning there. When that rolled off a little bit, just gave you that opening, and we saw that turn of foot that we expect from this horse. Yeah, for sure. He's always been a really good class horse. He's always had a few little niggles. That's why he's just taken a bit of time to get the racing into him, but hopefully he can come right on from that win and go and win a few more. 8 starts now, has finished in the top 2 on 6 occasions. Do you just keep going through the grade and stay at the 1,200 metres, or do you have plans to step up in distance? I think the boss is pretty keen to keep him, 1,200 or under. As I said, he's had a few niggles through his career, and he's not overly sound. So just to keep the work, the less work at home we put into him, the better race day. So that will just keep him that sort of distance for sure. Another win for the stable. Congratulations. Thanks, Adam. There's Colin Allen. We'll grab Aaron Mitchell now. And Aaron, you can now count on your 2 hands the amount of wins you have left before you finish this apprenticeship. How does that feel? Yeah, it's good, mate. Finally sort of knuckling down and trying to get down there. And look, the horse didn't get the best of the jump, and I was end up having to take the sit.
And when the run came, he took it, and he's just done enough in the end.
Is your poise and your patience your best improvement, do you think, as a jockey? Now, again, today you saw the pressure from Record, and rather than stretching your horse out, you're happy to sit, and then, again, you could see you wanted the way out. It wasn't there, but you're happy to wait and just assess the options. It looks to be where you've improved the most.
Yeah, that's right. I just sort of try not to let things get to me and don't panic in races, and, you know, it's all paying off.
How well has this horse returned?
Pretty well. He's just taken a couple of runs this time in a trial, so hopefully next start he can improve.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks.
There's Aaron Mitchell now 10 wins away from riding out of his apprenticeship, and remember Berlin at making it 3 wins from its 8 career starts with another 3 seconds and taking out race number 3, the Heineken 3 handicap over the 1200 metres.